Okay, it's been a while. Let me find my frame. It's been cause I'm doing video now. I don't want to directly talk to you people, but maybe I want to. Okay. Anyway. Um, Hi, welcome back to Ouch My 30s, the podcast about the decade that nobody prepared us for. So the last episode of Ouch My 30s, I was in Tampa, Florida. I had just had my heart broken by a raven-haired temptress, who, I say all this mostly in jest. She was doing the emotionally unavailable, I'm not going to be direct with you thing where, you know, hey, no, I really like you. Or oh, I'm sorry, I'm just so busy. Where I'm just if you're not as into this as I am, let's just say that we can kind of fizzle out or go our separate ways. But she very much enjoyed kind of stringing me along. And again, everyone's an adult. No one owes anyone anything. I'm big on that. So this is I'm very reluctant, very skeptical of people who are like, oh well, he made me think, or she led me on. She made me think. It's just no, you allowed yourself to believe what you wanted to believe in a relationship or a dynamic or whatever the case may be. So I really don't like putting it on the other person. Ultimately, it's on you to decide this isn't good enough for me. Which after many years, after much introspection and self-learning, I've been able to do for myself. So I kind of called this girl out, and I was like, well, it's so convoluted. But basically, she was having a celebratory after party for some bartending competition that she forgot she invited me to, and I showed up with her brother who invited me or reminded me to come. And when I was there, she was with another dude, and I was like, okay, well, and we had just fucked 2 nights before or whatever. And I was like, well, if this is what the situation is, I'm kind of out because I'm not really looking for that. So can I leave you or what? So I called an Uber, but there's no sidewalks in Florida after yelling at her, so I had to stand on a on a fucking median waiting for this Uber after storming out dramatically. Uber has ruined the dramatic storming out of a bar thing. So anyway, flash forward. So this is in April. And I had my one night of being sad about it, because in your 30s I think you get a little bit more pragmatic about breakups or things not working out romantically. I just sat in my condo in, where was I staying? Somewhere in downtown Tampa. I was just like, Lord, I was here tomorrow, I was seen you before, lady in red. And I was sad. I was like, I was waiting for you. It was a single teardrop. And then I got in my Lexus. Drove to the Amtrak auto train and came on back to New York. State. And then I reconnected with a girl I had briefly dated the year prior and ended up with my first, I think, girlfriend. And I'll say this. Elizabeth, if you're listening, please stop. I think you subscribe to the podcast. I'm not going to say anything cruel about you. I have nothing cruel to say about you, but you shouldn't listen to this because we're not together. And I do care about you a lot. But because I'm going to be honest, and I'm an honest person. And so yeah, it's I have nothing mean to say about you. There'll be nothing mean said about you. But just turn off the podcast, please. Respect my privacy. Which kind of caveats into, so while we were dating, well, let's just dive right into it. We were having sex once, and without a condom, because, when you're seeing someone, you kind of tend not to do that. And, I'm about to achieve climax. We're going at it. And I'm I'm about to, I'm about to come. And she's like, well, do you want to come in me? I was like, I'd better not. And she's like, okay. So like I ripped my penis out of her. And then, I like beat off in her mouth or something. And she's truly a sweetheart. But I told you to turn off the fucking episode. And afterwards I asked her, I was like, she said to me, she's like, let me guess. So like, she's like, you don't trust IUDs? Oh yeah, she told me to come in her and I was just like, I don't want to. She's like, I have an IUD. I'm like, what is that? She's like, you're 38 years old and you don't know what an IUD is? I'm like, I don't fucking know. She's like, it's a piece of metal. It's a piece of copper that I stick in my vagina and it emits ions to kill sperm. I was like, okay, Deep Space Nine. Um, so afterwards, she's like, it's really effective. She's like, it's 99% effective. And I'm like, well, what about that 1% chance that it's not effective? And she's like, well, at this age, which is a dangerous way for any woman to start a sentence, she's like, I'd keep the baby. And like a Call of Duty flashbang went off in the room, and it was like, "Wing." I was like, what? So anyway, I was like really like put in a weird spot because of her. We didn't have the conversation. We're having unprotected sex, which I don't generally do, and I'm assuming we're on the same page, and we weren't, and that kind of freaked me out. Why did I bring that up? I don't know. Oh, because I was talking about something about her not. Anyway, so that was one part of this relationship, but it was very nice to get more to the point. After dealing with this 30-something-year-old Florida girl who like didn't have the wherewithal to be just like direct with a fellow adult, which like in your 30s is, I'm like, bitch, like you ain't that special. So like just kind of tell me where we're at so I can like plan accordingly. To then kind of connect with this girl who was extremely sweet, very straightforward, really big on like open kind of direct conversation, which I really enjoyed. And I was just like able to be a dude. I just wanted. I'm at a point in my life where like having gone through a lot of suffering, and having acknowledged being not cruel or bad to women, but ambivalent to women that I cared about. I'm in a position now or a place in my life now where I want to like be a good dude for a woman. So I was just able to like do small things that like in previous relationships or situationships or whatever, either like financially I wasn't able to do or just emotionally I wasn't able to do. And it was just nice to kind of like, hey, pack your bag after work. We're gonna go to Greenwich Village for the night. Like stuff like that. Or we're gonna go to Connecticut and book a hotel. Just like pack a bag. I'll pick you up after work. And just like go out and like have a nice night and like eat food, have drink. I guess it's just called a relationship. At 38, I guess I just haven't done that. I've just been fucking a sexual deviant with women and then offered them no sort of emotional fulfillment after that, which is all I did in my 20s. And again, not like in a cruel way. I thought the women I was with were also like cool with that. And they were, but I guess as you get older or as relationships kind of mature and continue, eventually the other party like wants something more than just like empty sex, which I get. But with this girl I was dating, I got to do a lot of those like relationship side missions, like just being able to. It's literally called dating. I guess I just haven't dated a girl before, and we went to go see Alien Romulus, and I was able just to sit there and be furious at the characterization of the black character. And mind you, she's a very white woman who works in human resources, and she like laughed when I would like. There was a scene in Alien Romulus where like Steve Urkel like shuts down, and it's the most like bogus, like very uncool like thing, and I'm like, oh my god, are you kidding me? And like I literally laughed out loud in the movie theater while like everyone else is like, oh, I'm riveted by this like Negro bot that they have. So anyway, but yeah, and I think ultimately though, I think there was a relationship or a situationship throughout my 20s and early 30s that I, frankly, am still upset about. Maybe not so much because, like, oh, this person, I don't have this person anymore, but more like I didn't show that girl the respect she deserved. And that hurts me. That there was someone that I, looking back, know I cared immensely about and loved, but I just didn't do those decent things as you're supposed to do as a guy, for her and with her. I just I didn't respect her in the way that I should have. But dating this girl recently, I saw it as an opportunity for me to be like, if you care about someone, and if someone is going out of their way to care about you, like, do the shit you can do to make them feel good about themselves, and like, do the fucking bare minimum to not be a hunk of shit through your apathy and ambivalence, which is how I feel I've been to people I care about. So I did those things, and I really enjoyed it. For the first time, and this is like, if you fucking talked to me 8 years ago and showed me at 30 talking like this, what? Whoa, what the fuck happened to him? But yeah, having things you love ripped away from you because of your own idiocy and narcissism and vanity, I think is important for every guy. Every dude should go through that if they're not already like a decent dude. Some people grew up in normal families and relationships, and they saw how a normal, healthy relationship is supposed to be. I never saw any of that as a child. I saw nothing not remotely close to how a healthy, functioning relationship between a man and a woman should be. My real dad was in jail, and my mom fucked a lot of weird dudes. So it was always very alien to me. But as an adult now, I'm trying to play catch up in that department to be able to. I know the man that I want to be for a woman, and potentially the father I want to be to children. And the guy I was 5, 6, 8 years ago, just I was almost there. I had glimpses of that, but the previous relationship that ended, and I don't want to say her name, but she meant the fucking world to me, and I didn't know how to let her know that, or I didn't know that I needed to let her know that, which sounds crazy, but when you think the world of yourself, that's the problem. You don't take the time to share your affinity for other people outwardly. So, yeah, so we were dating each other, this girl, most recently, and it was very domestic, and she had like this nice house in Yonkers. It was a fucking mansion. The place was huge. And it was super cozy, and she had a fucking golden retriever, and she was like very yuppie, and I work a tech job, and it just felt like, oh man, is this how it's supposed to feel? But I know that I'm still pursuing these things that are not yet compatible with that. I am a comedian, I am a writer, but I'm not doing enough work in those departments, I feel, to be able to commit to this, house, dog, and a girl, and 1.5 kids yet. And I know she wanted that. We were watching we were watching Day of the Dead, and some guy's getting ripped in half by zombies. And I ask her, I go, what's the scariest thing in the world to you? Thinking she has something to say about a horror film. And she goes, well, the guy's being ripped apart on screen. Never having children. I was like, oh my God. in that moment, and she's like, well, what's the most scary thing to you in the world? I was like, being subjected to a third world country's justice system. She's like, what? I was like, I don't want to go to fucking Thailand and have some dude with one of those like big white hats, not a cowboy hat, like those rice paddy hats, but a stick beating you back into your cell. Biggest nightmare. to have to deal with some goofy third world countries like justice system is my nightmare. But she's like, oh yeah, well, mine's not having kids. So that was one point in the relationship where I was like, maybe we're in different places. I don't know. So yeah, it was like, but that was the bummer though. You know, I was really enjoying my time with her. I was enjoying developing a rapport with this girl, this woman, my age. And it felt like I was on a countdown. It felt like I didn't have time. It felt like sitting down to a great dinner and then someone putting a clock on the table and being like, okay, you're going to have the best food, the best wine in the world, but that clock's ticking. And when it's done, you got to get up from the table. And I get it. I'm in my late 30s. I'm 38. So was she. You know, people don't have forever to create a family and kids if that's important to them. But it just seems like, fuck, man, like, any dynamic or any relationship now is like always going to be on this weird timer, it feels like. And to me, it's like I want to be fully engrossed in a person. I want to know everything there is to know about you before we fucking have kids, and dilute our dynamic. And I don't know, maybe it's delusional. Maybe, hey, Val, you're too old to truly get to know someone on a deep, deep level before having children. Maybe everyone's got to be like, hey, and you know, this is what the dating apps are like now. It's like, hey, what are you looking for? Okay, so you want kids? Okay, so then you would marry me. Okay, all right, let's maybe have a drink. Okay, now let's go. It's just like everyone's in this rush, and I get it. There's a biological component, but I need to know everything about you. I need to know your darkness. I need to know the evils within you. I need to know the joys within you. I need to know the horrible things that have happened to you. I need to know the things that make you scream with happiness, you know, in spite of those horrible things that have happened to you. And I don't know if people are willing to take that time with each other anymore because the world's all scary and we're all looking for safety and reliability and consistency that doesn't fucking exist. You know, the internet and perhaps COVID reminding us of our mortality has created that paradigm in our minds that, you know, it's possible to get guaranteed outcomes and assurances from other people, but that's not fucking reality. So, yeah, but it did feel good. It did feel really nice to be able to, you know, she went to go see, was it Arcade Fire or somebody, or fucking, not Arcade Fire, like some other fucking white band from the 2013s era. The Killers, probably maybe the Killers in Queens, and I like drove down and picked her up, drove back to her place, and yeah, she was a sweet girl, and I did care about her, but some people want it now, and I'm not ready for that yet. When you gonna be ready? You 38. How much time you think you got? I don't know, sweetheart. I do not know. But in contrast to that awful raven-haired girl in Florida, who was not awful. She was just living her life. I don't blame her. I don't hate her. But it's like, you see that contrast where it's like the one side of the spectrum is someone who's like completely fucking emotionally unavailable and guarded and like, I'll never find love, or like, I'll never get married again kind of shit. And you're like, okay, let's see how you feel when you got bad knees and jowls at 45, talking about, I'm still young and ambivalent. You know, I'm a mess. I'm a hot girl mess at 48. Okay. Versus this very sweet girl who, you know, had a specific outcome and goal in mind for love. And I don't blame her for wanting that. I don't think I didn't want to waste her time. And I think that's another big step for me too. I could have casually continued dating her, but I was like, she wants something else. And I don't know that I can give her that. So I stopped it, you know. I didn't want to stop it. It was fucking comforting, man. It was comforting to have someone that was sweet and accommodating. I remember what she said. She's like, I'm just trying to please you about something like benign. I think, I don't know, she had like some drink in the refrigerator that I liked, and I was like upset about it or something. I don't know, something stupid. or when I would yell and I would get upset. Because she would like go to these like, I'm gonna out her too much, but she worked in a capacity that dealt with race relations. And I would get up and equality in the world, and I would get like animated about like, you know, I mean, if you know anything about me, I'm very like, you know, rich white liberals are just compensating for their complicity and the problems that they're creating by being histrionic about protesting and all this type of shit. And she was at like some lesbians and like technology event, and I just like lost my goddamn mind. And while I'm screaming on the Sawmill Parkway driving back to her place, or the Harlem River Drive or something, while we're driving, she just puts her hand on my shoulder, not like in a comforting way, but like a dog that's rabid that she's trying to calm down. And I was like, and another thing, these lesbians, they got money, so why are they trying to worry about how much more money they need in tech? And this is just like the whitest white girl in the world. She just puts her hand on my shoulder just to like settle me down. I'm like, unschleimen. I think this is why Hitler had Eva Braun. You know, I was like, unschleimen, unblagen, unschleimen. And Eva Braun's just like, it's okay, Hitler. We're gonna win this war. Anyway. So if you're still listening and I told you not to, God damn it, just know that I very much care about you. And thank you. Just, you know, it was, I didn't want to waste your time. Man, you were hot. Oh, God. So, Duval gets a girlfriend. Duval has, and, you know, when she asked me to, like, she's like, hey, like, do you want to see each other exclusively? You know, I didn't cheat. And I've never cheated on anyone ever because I've never really been in a relationship. But there were some moments when some women were coming on to me and I was like, I'm not going to break that. I had a friend who's no longer my friend, I guess. We haven't talked in several years, who constantly and openly cheated on his wife, or not openly, but he constantly did it. And I always said to myself, like, I don't ever want to be that kind of guy. I don't ever want to be in a position to look someone in the eyes that I love and lie to them. I will be a lot of things. I will be many things. That will never be one of the things that I am. Someone who can look someone they love or say they love in their eyes and lie to them. No thanks. And to this day, I can say that that is true, and I haven't. And I never will. And you shouldn't either. Just like, don't waste people's time. Just like end it. Just be honest. Don't be a fucking pussy. Don't be a love pussy. Don't be a pussy of love. Just put your love in a pussy. All right. Well, this is new. I don't know. Hey, if you like this video, leave a like, smash that subscribe button, and leave a comment below about dating and relationships and, you know, ending it with someone that you care about, but you know you guys want different things. Yeah. All right. I had fun. This is cool. Hope you guys did.